over now to Sam Amadou, who is the media director of the Nigeria Women's Football League, to share his thoughts with us on the show this morning about the NWFL, the IGM yesterday, and their plans for the 2024-2025 season, which the NWFL has resolved will commence on the 15th of January 2025. Good morning, Sam. Good to have you on ADBN Sport this Wednesday morning. The league body, of course, had their AGM yesterday in Abuja here. And I already mentioned the league date, the commencement date, 15 January. Share your thoughts with us. Why this long delay? We know the league ended in May. Why are we waiting, or why did we wait all this while? What were the factors responsible that we couldn't have a league for the last 7 months, and it will be in January that the Women's League will resume?
Well, realistically, I think a lot of factors were tied to this unfortunate delay. It wasn't the intentions of the league board and the management, but the realities here are the quest to make sure that the league has a sponsor, has some sort of visibility in terms of getting some partnership that would take care of improving the visibility of the league in terms of TV TV collaborations, having most of our games on TV and what have you. And these are quite a number of ideas, conversations that were ongoing long before now. And we understand how tough it is in the country and the economic realities, if I must say, of Nigeria as a country and also the Nigerian football. And so it's endearing and also important that we have certain degree of conversations, and this is what the Nkechi-led body is committed to and ensuring to put in place and before this season starts. So regardless, I also having a quest to ensure we also get things started early. Why? Because we also need to align with the FIFA, with the CAF calendar, considering the possibility of our teams also qualifying for the continent. And these are some of the reasons why we just need to ensure that we cannot also wait forever while we are also trying to put some things in place. It can also the conversation has reached some sort of reasonable level that we ensure that we've seen some quality partnership, quality sponsorship coming into the league. And this is why the Nkechi-led board was put in place in the first place. And this is the factors that were really involved. You know, we need to get funding, and we don't want to at any point seeing the league getting stopped halfway. So this aspect of funding needed to be taken care of. As much as I cannot give conclusive statement on what has been resolved or what has been secured in terms of sponsorship and partnership or TV collaborations, I think I could say there are appreciative progress on this front, and I think definitely some of these things will be revealed in coming days or in coming weeks, to be very realistic.
Yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned TV, because that was the questions I was going to ask you. That are we going to have the Women's League on TV next season? You can still talk about that. Then also touch on the 3 tiers that the NWFL AGM agreed on. We know of the NWFL. In 2 years' time, your board is planning to have the league increased to 20 teams. How would that play out? Then, of course, the championship also. And then this state league, the 3rd tier, what is really about, so that perhaps there might be someone out there who has a women's football team playing in a state anywhere in Nigeria, and is just hearing that the NWFL is looking at a state league for women's football. Share your thoughts with us on this 3-tier league, and also if the women's league will finally be on TV come next season.
Yeah, hopefully, I think at this level we tried a lot to ensure that if we had an opening match live on TV through Afro Sports last season against the opening match, that's between Ekiti Queens and also Delta Queens, the defending champions, that former champions then. That was for the league opener. That game happened in Ekiti, Ekiti rather. So I think that was an Afro Sport and was also transmitted on more than 5 different domestic platforms at the same time. So it was at least a huge boost. But now we want to take it a lot better, and we're already having fundamental partners that are looking to really exploit the opportunity of at least putting at least two games on TV for Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership. And I think we believe visibility is key to ensuring the game is marketed, the league gains the right support it could get, and attract that sort of partnership and also those sponsorships that could really snowball into financial returns for not just the league but also the club and also to the player. So it's in process. I really cannot go into details at the moment, but definitely this with clarity will be bring to this and also more details to be revealed, like I said earlier, in coming weeks. So on the side of the three tiers, it's been in conversation since a season ago. That's during our last AGA that was in Lagos in 2023. That expansion will be considered, and this is in a quest to really encourage more competition for girls, more clubs to be involved, and at the same time, while we're having this consideration, we cannot also be disconnected from the realities in the country and how encompassing it will be for the league to facilitate games across 20 teams or across 15 or 14 teams. This is a lot. You can't compare the cost of facilitating games now to what it was a year ago. It's a lot different. And when you compare the cost of you traveling to Lagos or to Abuja or to Osun State, which was probably around 8,000 a year ago, and now already going into 30, 40,000, definitely you know that you can't be using that same pricing figure to consider game. So when you're looking at a game that will involve looking at what goes into organizing a game, just a match, let's say of games, 8 games across the week, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So these are factors that has also been taken into consideration. But regardless, one has to make the most, and at the same time, while we expect more support to come in, and also the partnership that one is aiming to get will come in, one has to be intentional about one's effort. So I think this is why the conversation of having a league, like we did last season, from 14 to 16, that was deliberate because we cannot also create a dichotomy because while it was 14, you always have a buy, which was unnecessary. Everybody should feel involved every weekend. And that buy was going to be some sort of setback. And that was why the expansion to 16 was necessary. It was necessary to ensure there was at least a balance, the match balance, competition balance across board. And that was the reason for the 16. And I find 20 now is not reasonable because one, there will always be a room for walkover. And this is what, not sorry, for buys, which was something we tried to avoid for the expansion era. So the only expansion we could do now is to 20 and 20 when you're having 4 extra teams is a lot to the setup. And understanding that we now have a championship that contains 20 teams. Definitely it is quite a number that we must adjust to. And we had those teams involved, only two promoted this season, which the teams are Ibom and Honey Badger. So we need to take into picture the timing and also at the same time the cost of managing this. And this is why deliberately the Congress has resolved that this becomes if takes effect from 2025-2026 season. So for now, we'll continue to work on modalities to ensuring that we get the necessary support that it needs, the sponsorship that would ensure the league become self-sufficient enough to ensure that some of these challenges will be mitigated when the expansion takes prepared. The same too, like you know, the championship is already existing. 20 teams were involved. 19 teams were involved. The last championship where 2 teams were promoted in Cross River State, that's in Calabar. Now we have the league, state league implemented a year ago, but we have to uh, set it down a bit. Why? Because we needed to sort out the modalities and at the same time, the president of the state league is having states across various states own their own league, which is practically being controlled by the FA. It's a way to also engage at the grassroots, reach out to get the teams busy at the grassroots. Example, we are having a lot of states now coming up with leagues in those states, Osun State, you can see what Osun State is doing, Lagos State, quite a number of states across the country are already involved in this. So we have states qualify. I think the modality is also being worked out, but we want to see how states across various regions you play at your state level, qualify from your state, going into a region. From a region, you now go into the nationwide level. So it's more like a very competitive stream that you get to be involved at your stage, not just something on a stage. You progress to your regional level. After regional level, you also get into featuring at the nationwide level. So it's quite a lot, but this idea is also being worked out, and definitely a committee is being put in place to ensure that most of the details are being the T is being dotted, the I's are being crossed, and ensuring that yes, we have much clarity to what the framework about this competition will be all about. So I think it's more or less to penetrate the grassroots level, encourage more girl child playing football at various levels of the game, and this is a way to improve. You know very well that the women's league is the ingredients of the national team. This is where
Yeah.
we provide talent for the national team, and this is where we're deliberately trying to expand the scope and ensure that we encourage opportunities to younger girls to be involved at various levels of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, what an in-depth response right there. Just quickly now, Sam, the quality of the coaching. I've looked through your communique. I didn't see anything about the coaches. Because at the last CAF Women's Champions League, we know that Coach Moses Aduku had a couple of issues. Enyimba are also having a couple of issues with their coach when it comes to the CAF Champions League, standing on the touchline. And of course, Academy Warriors and a couple of the other clubs in recent time have also had that when they go to the continent. What is NWFL doing to ensure that if a coach is qualified enough to man a team in the NWFL, they can also coach a team in the CAF Champions League? Because I know that CAF is planning to expand the CAF Women's Champions League. Of course, you are a veteran of women's football. What is the NWFL doing about improving the coaching licenses of these coaches? What incentives are you throwing up in conjunction with the NFF Women's Football Board? You're also part of that. I know there was a coaching C license, which we had a couple of Super Falcons, former Super Falcons players took part in Abuja earlier this year. So what is the NWFL doing about the quality of coaching in the Women's League?
Yeah, for the terms of coaching, I think this is we can work at variance with the Nigerian Football Federation. I think it's under the purview of the federation to ensure that coaching programs are created, and I think this they've been doing very well. And this is a huge commendation also to the Ibrahim Gusso administration for the program they created. 30 female coaches, and this with 30 female coaches being empowered with taxi license, they have every right and they have every opportunity to feature in any game, not just at the end of the tournament, but even at CAF level. With a coach capacity coaching license for a female coach, you can be on the touchline at any CAF competition. It's still acceptable, and this is where you see the likes of Coach Kura, Grace Kura, being on the touchline for Edo Queens during the Women's Champions League. So we are already working on many areas of improving relations with coaches, and I think before the league kick off, definitely we are releasing more.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we can get Sam back as soon as possible. Sam, by the way, is also the secretary of the FCT SWAN, that is the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria. He's a member of the NFF Women's Football Board. Okay, Sam, you can continue now and conclude your thoughts.
Yes, like I was saying, I believe the NFF is working in that direction to ensure that further programs outside the CAF C, the CAF B, CAF A is also organized in coming months. And I feel we only can hope that they get the endorsement of CAF and various relevant bodies to ensure that these programs come to be. So, but at that level, the Women's League is keen to expand the scope to ensure not just our women coaches are getting the requisite license. That's like our still license, but we open our main coaches too. We upgrade, but when programs are not happening, definitely we tie that to seeing what the federation can do. And I believe the Musa Gusso board is really, Ibrahim Gusso board is really doing everything possible to ensure that they get the necessary endorsement they could get to ensure CAF licenses program and also CAF licensing coaching program are also being held in coming weeks. So I think the process is in place, and the NWFL is already planning a seminar for coaches before the league kicks off. Definitely such details will be in the public.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. Time will fail us to talk about Barbara Banda. I know you met with her at the Olympics earlier this year in Paris. and she's one star that over the years we followed. And we also saw 4 of our Super Falcons make the best 11 as we count down to the Women's AFCON next year in Morocco. I know the NFF, of course, has a lot of plans for the Falcons right there. Thank you so much, Sam, for your time on the show this morning. Wish you a beautiful Wednesday, of course, right here in Abuja.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure talking women's football, and all the best and happy
Yeah.
Christmas anytime.